booktube. My name is Elizabeth. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Bookends and Books. I have a very serious announcement to make in this video. You will be framed in September. No, you will not be accused of committing a crime you have not committed. You will be invited by me and my wonderful co-host to read books about art. So I am announcing an Art Readathon for the month of September. So my wonderful co-hosts, they are Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads, Lindy from Lindy's Magpie Reads, Hannah from Hannah's Books, and Heather from the channel that has her name, Heather Greg. If you don't know them, I strongly invite you to watch their channels. They are wonderful booktubers. And of course, I'm leaving links in the description box below. So why an Art Readathon? I was thinking last year that when I read a book, my brain is tickled in a particular way, and that experience doesn't really have an equivalent, except with great works of art, because a great work of art can transport me just as much as a book can transport me. Art is very powerful, and wonderful books have been written on art, great books, and tons of books. There's a quantity of books on art, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. And I thought that they don't get a lot of attention on BookTube, so perhaps they deserve their own month. So that is what we're doing. We are inviting you to read works of art. To read books about art. So that's our first prompt. Basically, the only mandatory prompt is to read a book, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, that focuses on art. What do we mean by art? Perhaps I should have started with that. We have a very broad definition. Well, in fact, we don't have a definition. We have decided not to limit what we mean by art. In antiquity, there was the 6 arts. They were, and I don't remember which order, architecture, sculpture, painting, dancing, music, and literature. If I remember correctly, these were the 6 great arts in antiquity. But since then, a lot have been added. In French, there's le 7e art, so that's the 7th art. I don't know if that expression exists in English, but that is cinema. So cinema, photography, and then there's, in French, some people are trying to push the 8th art, le 8e art, and that would be comics, like bande dessinée, graphic novels. So that would be a different art, though it can be, it's sort of a collision between literature and painting, I guess, or drawing. And it can be something more on the side of crafts, like textile arts, or it can be graphic arts of various sorts. It can be anything that you want. We are not limiting our notion of art for this readathon. It really is a readathon that celebrates books about creativity, really. Because art, that's what art is. It's the expression of human creativity. Though creativity can have a lot of outlets. I'm filming this on an iPhone, and whoever created this technology had a lot of creativity, because it took a lot of creativity. Though I don't think our readathon goes all the way to, well, it could go all the way to engineering and technology if it's about the creative aspect of it. It very well could. So it's a readathon about art in any meaning that you want. So yeah, and I mentioned music a few times, but don't think just classical music. It can be any sort of music. It can be jazz, it can be hip hop, it can be rock, just any type of music. And same thing for dance. It's not just ballet, it can be modern dance. It can be, that's it, that's the only 2 types of dances that I know. Oh, tap dance. 3 types of dances that I know. So it can be any type of dancing. It can be any type of painting. It can be any type of photography. It can be any type of cinema. It can be any type of art that you can think of. That's it. We just want to invite you to read books about creativity. So that's our first prompt. Just read a book, and that's basically the only mandatory prompt. And then there's a second prompt that we kind of strongly invite you to follow, and that one would be to experience a work of art. So that could be that you could go to a museum, an art museum, to look at some paintings and sculptures. You could go to a performance of some sort, a dance performance, a concert of music. You could attend a play, or you could just walk in your city and look at the architecture. If you live in Europe, chances are that you will have some gems not that far away from you. North America, it's not as obvious. If you live in the suburbs somewhere, somewhere far from the older parts of cities, yeah, that can be ugly for a long time. But perhaps there are public works of art. I don't know where you live, but where I live, there are tons of sculptures and statues and parks and in front of public buildings. So perhaps you could take the time to look just look at one of them. Just take 10 minutes and look at one of them and trying to see what it tells you and what you feel, and just appreciate the work of art, or hate it if you want to, but just think about the work of art a little bit. So that's the second prompt, just experience a work of art. And then there's a third prompt if you're really into it, and that would be to create some art yourself, or to tell us about a work of art that is meaningful to you. So it could be something that you own, something that someone gave to you. It could be something that someone you know made. Just a work of art that is important to you. So that could be a third prompt if you're into it. And that's it. That's all our readathon is. It's just an invitation to read books about art. So since I have nothing else to say, I'm just going to say that, later in the month I will come up with another video, a pile of possibilities for September, because I have a whole bunch of books about art that I own and that I haven't read yet. And I am also thinking of books that I want to read and that I don't have. So I'll go to the library and I'll come back with a whole bunch of books about art, and I will have a gigantic pile of possibilities. And of course, as always, I'll just end up reading 1 or 2 books from the pile of possibilities, but it's okay. It's totally okay. This is a laid back, no stress readathon for the hosts and for the people who participate in it. You just have to read one book, fiction or nonfiction, about art that focuses on art, and that's it. So a nonfiction book that focuses on art is quite obvious. Can be a biography of an artist, can be a book that focuses on a particular work of art, can be on a particular field of art. But for fiction, it simply is a book where the main character is an artist, for example, or that is set in an artistic setting, like a book that is set in the theater world, a book that is set in the cinema world, the world of painting, of museums, something like that. So it's really a broad-ranging readathon, anything that relates to art, fiction or non-fiction, and that's it. So it's simple, it's easy, and I hope you'll join us. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. À la prochaine. Hello again. When I edited my video, I realized that I did not explain the name of our readathon, which is not that obvious. So frames, why frame? Well, in September, that part is obvious. The readathon is in September. But frames, there are frames everywhere in art. Now, of course, there's the frame of the picture frame of the painting. That's the obvious part of it. But also, when you think of the stage is a frame for the dance or the music that is being performed, or the play that is being performed. And then in cinema, it's just a succession of frames. And then Lindy mentioned that for textile arts, it very often starts with a literal wooden frame. So there are frames in all types of arts, and that's the reason why we chose this title for our readathon. Because the other possibility was an art readathon, which is nice, which it says what it says, but it's not very creative for a readathon focusing on creativity. So that's why we went for framed in September. So I just wanted to mention that, since I started the video with framed in September, I thought it deserved an explanation. So that's it for real, and I will see you in the next video. À la prochaine.